What's going on, everybody? Darrell, the Whiskey Saint, back on another Wednesday for another Whiskey Wednesday review, guys. And with no further ado, what we're going to be talking about, guys, is a bottle that's relatively new to me. Had a couple single barrels in the past, but haven't touched any of this specific version. What we're going to be reviewing today, guys, is the newest bottle from Green River. I hope maybe newest, potentially, but it's the full proof coming in at 117.3 proof. You know, kind of like just a normal shelfer from what I'm told versus the single barrels that some of these groups are putting out now. So if you're new to our channel, hit that like and subscribe. We're going to kick this show off and dive into this bottle. Cheers. Welcome back, guys. And we're going to just get this going. Got my little handy dandy top dog, Glenn, over here. Got this good old Green River. Wow. It's a pretty good cork pot. Let's get this going. I don't want to pour too much. As you can see, I've been diving into it a bit, guys. Trying to just get like a decent gauge of the whiskey, prior to grading it. I didn't want to just crack it open, grade it, then shoot this video. Had it for about a week now. Probably went into it maybe 3 or 4 different times before grading it. Just going to give it a little spin job, and we're going to dive in and talk about this a bit. So as you can see, guys, this bottle here is relatively cheap, $49.99. I want to say in terms of full proof bottles, there's not many, I would imagine, that are under that price point. Things that come to mind, Wild Turkey Rare Breed being, cash strength. You do got Stagg Junior or Stagg, but that's at this price point if you can find it, but for something that's going to be sitting on a shelf, this is pretty good, along with, Old Forester 1920, but that is even more than this, so this is going to come down to some, in terms of value, probably one of the maybe better values out there, sitting on a shelf, in my opinion. Non-age stated, 117.3 proof, guys. We're going to dive in on the taste. Cheers. Kind of got ahead of myself, to be honest. Typically, I try to get into the nose a little quick, but dive straight into that palate, and it doesn't disappoint. To talk about the nose, though, briefly, guys, this thing up front, it does remind me, it is Green River. Blue Note juke joints are Green River source distillate, and this does remind me of a very, very good, like, juke joint single barrel pick. I get a lot of berry, like dark berry, citrus, some nice spice, some nice oak. I'm not sure the age in this. I'm guessing maybe around 4 years or so, guys. Maybe even older, honestly, because it tastes a little better than those juke joints, which I know are right around that 4 to 5-year-old age statement. But these, or this bottle in particular, for me, is just so rich up front. Like, it's not going to blow you away on like the front palate, well, the front of the nose, but it's just some nice notes, nice flavor, a little bit of citrus, like orange peel. You get that dark berry in there, some nice oak, almost like a toasted, like coconut, like the actual coconut shavings, guys. Like if you think of maybe like, I think it's an Almond Joy that had the coconut flakes, I believe, in it, but it's a mixture between like a little bit of that chocolate and just like coconut shaving, if that makes any sense. Yeah, the nose is really, really, really nice. Nothing too crazy on it, but it's enjoyable. Let's go in for another sip. the middle of this palette is where it kind of kicks up a notch. You know, the front of the palette's nice. You get some of those flavors, that dark berry still there, that citrus there. But mid palate elevates all those flavors up a couple notches. As we said about the nose was pretty pleasant. Nothing that stood out like crazy about it, but it was really nice. You know, so I gave it 1 thumbs up instead of 2. But like I said, I can't really complain about it. Could it have been better? Yes, but you know, for a $50 bottle, like it's really nice. It's really nice. Going in on the palate, guys, like I just mentioned, that mid palate shines. Like there's so much flavor eruption right there. Like it's just like bursting, almost like gushers, but not like that fruity gushers. It's more of just, actually, I guess you could say like a dark berry, you know, maybe give me like a blackberry gusher. Oh man, not the super sweetness, but just how that flavor kind of just pops on your tongue. Like it's really, really nice. Let's go in for another sip. Yeah, there's no getting away from how dark those notes are. And it's just all dark fruit for me. I had a similar experience with a bottle of Still Austin that Nancy Fraley had. It was one of her specific picks. And it was just so like blueberry and blackberry forward. And this is the same for me. Like different taste profile, but very, very similar experience, which you guys know me, you know I love all that fruit forwardness on a whiskey. And this coupled with just that mid-palate mouthfeel and the finish. We haven't even talked about the finish, guys. Like this just sits, it's only 117 proof. I say only, you know, a lot of us get accustomed to that 120 plus proof, but this just sits, it coats the mouth nicely. It's viscous. It's sticking to the inside of my cheeks, my tongue, like really, really nice. This is actually pretty surprising. I wouldn't say I was expecting this. You know, I had a couple single barrels a couple months ago and those kind of blew me away. So I was expecting this to be just not nearly as good. And I will say the single barrels were better, guys. But, you know, for a $49.99, $50 bottle, that's going to be relatively available for almost everybody on the shelf. This is this is nice. You know, talking about the finish, like I said, guys, this just sits. Like I poured a decent amount, guys, and I just keep drinking it. Not that like the flavors just kind of dissipate. It's just it keeps me wanting to drink more. Like I put it down, sip it, get that eruption, lights me up, love the flavors. You know, sits there for a bit, then I kind of want to just take another sip. You know, I haven't put a big dent on the bottle, but like I've been just reviewing some other stuff. But this is a bottle that I can see just crushing. Like I said, nothing that's going to just completely blow you away by any means, guys. But for what it is, you know, a not age stated, maybe roughly, like I said, 4 years old, full proof, you know, not barrel proof. But so they probably just proofed it down a bit. Not sure what it was at the barrel, you know, upon finishing it off. But at 117, this works. This works. Let's go in for one more sip, guys. Yeah, just overall a really good put together whiskey. I know some people were talking about this maybe being like the Stagg killer. I don't agree with that personally. I will say this is really, really good whiskey. And at the proof point, not the proof point, sorry, at the price point, makes it that much better for me. But I will say maybe the single barrels. The single barrels that I've had could probably rival some Stagg and Stagg Juniors. This one, as good as it is, I just don't think it has that complexity and depth that some of the Staggs that I've had have. But this is no slouch, you know. It's a very good compromise for just a full proof or, you know, barrel proof whiskey at, you know, sub $50, right? Going into this, guys, like for our review, you know, we like to pretty much we have 10 different categories. You guys probably know by now. But in terms of flavor, this scored an 85 for me. So pretty much 8s and 9s across the board. The only 10 that it did get was on the value, because at $50, I think this is a heck of a value. And it's a bottle that, once I finish that, I'll probably be looking to back up, along with maybe some single barrels if I can find those in the future. But this is a very good compromise to having a single barrel if I can't get my hands on one. That experience I have ranked at an 84. That mid-palate and that finish for me, or mid-palate, back of the palate, and finish, is where this really, really shines. Like, up front's nice. The nose was good. But when you get to the palate on the mid and the finish, like, everything is, like, elevated. And it's just a really, really nice experience, guys. We look at the total final score for me. I got this at an 86, which isn't bad at all. Considering that price, man, I would have to look back to see how many, just say, $50 bottles and under that really scored mid-80s for me. I'm not sure there were many of them. If we look at everything for 2024, guys, this is tied for 11. I want to say there was 6 bottles that scored 86 for me out of the 23 that I've scored for 2024. If we look at an all-time ranking, we're looking at tied for 38 out of 108. So that's that's up there. That's up there. That's almost, well, let's just say 40%. There's 60% of the whiskey that I reviewed, not as good as this, and this is a sub $50 bottle, which says a lot for it, right? Can't really hype this up that much as I would like to. Like, it's really good whiskey. I say the single barrels guys are probably the ones to hunt for, but if you just want that everyday, just full bodied whiskey, that should be readily available for most, I think this is a very good bottle to grab. Like, I do say it's a grab for me. It's a grab and back it up, once I finish, because I don't really have too many bottles that kind of remind me of this profile. Like I said, it does kind of come off as like those juke joints. It is Green River, but this just tastes like a elevated joint single barrel, which doesn't release here for me, so walking into a store and being able to grab this for only $50, I think is a steal. We're going to take one more sip, guys, and we're going to wrap this review up. But yeah, in short, if you see them and you haven't had it, grab it. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And if you like darker profiles, those dark fruits, you're definitely going to want to pick this up, guys. On that note, thanks for sticking with me so far, guys. We're going to end this off. Have a great day. Cheers.
Jeff, just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you say hello again. Oh, Jeffrey, you should just be friends with me. But you have these whiskey friends, and you